right, so this video was inspired by a comment that I received. The gist of the comment was that, you've made videos about your dad and your stepmom. Are you gonna make one about your mom? So this is that video, and I have to be honest with y'all, I have been dreading making this video. Actually, I've made this video about 20 times, and I keep on deleting it and not posting it because this is probably going to be emotionally, even if I don't, hopefully I won't cry in this one, but if I don't, emotionally, this is going to be the toughest video for me to do because I'm a mama's boy. So that she's the closest relationship in my family that I have, but it's also the most fractured, the most damaged, and the one to where we are still not in a good place. It's still active, so but sometimes you have to be pushed. You have to be pushed to talk about things you don't want to talk about. And if I'm going to have this channel to where I'm discussing tough things, and then it's time, right? So let's just get into it. And this is going to thread through several of my other videos, but let's just do this. Okay, so I grew up in a house with domestic violence, right? And being a mama's boy, for me, it kind of became my responsibility to make sure that my mom was okay. There was always this fear that my dad was going to kill my mom, right? So I had to be there. So if I wasn't at school, I was at home. I followed her around like a puppy dog. If she was in the kitchen, I was in the kitchen. If she was in the bathroom, I was in the bathroom. I was that type of kid. And the thing is, and also my mom, I could just tell she was so unhappy, and I won't go into the reasons why, but she just was not a happy person. So that was also, I felt like my job was to make her smile, make her happy, be the best kid that I could be the best student that I could be, just to, I don't know, to try to make her happy. And, eventually my mom ends up getting on drugs and becoming an addict. Long story short, we end up all living with my stepmom, and my mom just kind of goes off and leaves us, right? So, and I mentioned this in another video, but when that happened, I remember thinking like, I can breathe, like, which freaking sucks, right? As a mama's boy, like, I love my mom more than anyone else on this planet, but for me to have that, it's just a weird feeling like, man, I don't have to. Of course, there was this general fear that hoping that she was okay, because I didn't know where she was at, but it wasn't like a day in and day out kind of situation to where like I was consumed with protecting her because I didn't have that option anymore. I didn't have to do that anymore, and so I could finally be a kid, or at least so I thought, because my dad was still in love with my mom, and throughout the years, there were so many things that happened to where she kept being introduced and then leaving and introduced, and back and forth, and all of this freaking crazy stuff that was happening. It got to the point where like even when I was with my stepmom, I still couldn't relax, thinking like at any minute now something else is going to happen, and things will be turned upside down. Just like that became a pattern, which was true. So when I left for the military, that was when I actually thought, okay, maybe now, of course, a whole bunch of other stuff was happening in my life, but at least that part of it, maybe I could finally just like relax. And then also, I knew that my mom was doing better. So I thought, okay, and she had just trying to get off of the drugs and stuff. So I thought, this is great. Maybe this is that time. But then like this other, like I remember I found out where my mom was at, and I got the number, so I called, and I'm talking to my sister, and she hands the phone to my mom. I start talking to my mom, and like I remember her just going like, she said something like, I can't do this, and she hands the phone back to my sister. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? And she says, well, mommy's crying. She said that she can't talk to you because you don't sound the same. Like, you don't sound like her son. And, we were Puerto Rican from the Bronx, very New Yorican accent. I probably had the least amount of anyone in my family, but especially after I moved away, I dropped most of that. So I kind of knew what she was talking about, but still, it's like, I'm your son. And we hadn't seen each other in years. Like, we hadn't had any contact. So Uh, that kind of sucked, you know. But I thought, I'm just gonna. My next vacation, I went up to New York, and I took my boyfriend at the time, and so as soon as I found out where my mom was at, I kind of like surprised her, and we ended up staying with her for a few days, and it was like, I don't know, I just felt like she kept doing, or she would say the most odd kind of things. Like, there was one point where we went to see a guy that she had been dating, and I remember her saying, oh, this is my son Mikey, he can sing, like Mikey's sing. And so I remember singing this song, and it was the song that I had written. It was very personal. It was about me being molested. Like, so it was a deeply emotional song for me. But if my whole life has changed, how did you stay the same? And if I lost the nerve to yell, tell me, am I to blame? No way. You ought to know what you did to me that night. It goes in and out of my brain like a hurricane. When you held me close, did you notice how I cried? You walked in, then walked out without shaking the house. Thought I died. Somehow I'm still alive. I still can't, it's hard for me to sing it. I remember she was just kind of like, no, I don't like that song. Sing another one. You. But I sang another song, whatever. I probably shouldn't have let that get to me, but it did. As you can imagine, I'm like, man, this is my song you're telling me pretty much you don't like. But she didn't know that, to be fair, but still. And then, so, my boyfriend's family was up in Buffalo, so we took a few days, took a bus up to see them, came back. On the way back, I stopped at Macy's and got her like this necklace that had like, half a heart, to where I would have half and then she would have half. So and with the scripture from the Bible in it. So I gave that to her, and she was like, I appreciate this, but I wish you would have spent more time with me than spending money on this. So like I left there thinking, like, feeling like the worst son ever, but at the time I'm thinking, like, I was trying to do the best that I could, and trying to make everyone happy. But I left there thinking, like, you are the worst son ever. You should have spent every minute with your mom. Like, I thought that. But then I get back and I'm thinking, like, everything else was going so well in my life, and it just seemed like that's the only time I was hearing anything negative like that was from my mom, just critical in a way. And it's not like I hid myself, but I just thought, I need a break from just putting myself in those situations. And so I stopped calling, and then we kind of lost contact. I lost contact with everyone in my family. So over 10 years, I believe, go by. My sister-in-law finds me. So then there was another surprise trip to New York, and I went with my boyfriend, and I went with a good friend of ours. And so, that was their vacation. So the plan was originally to just do a lot of touristy things, because at that point I didn't know how things were going to work out with me and my family. But then, of course, I saw them all. I came out to them all. And the day that I went to see my mom, she was at work. So I remember that day I had things planned. We were going to see the musical Rent, and we had reservations for the Rocco Spirito restaurant. And so I said, would you like to do this, and with me? And she's like, yeah. I said, cool, because she had to go back to work. So I bought another ticket for the musical. I added her to the reservations at the restaurant. I went to Macy's and bought a few outfits just to make sure there was something that she would like. And so I was so excited, because this was my life. Like, she had never seen my life and the things that I enjoy. And I was thinking I can finally spend time with her and show her me, But man, I don't know what the deal is. Like, she was criticizing everything from like the outfits that I picked. We went to the restaurant and she was like, I'm not familiar with ordering mixed drinks, so I got one. She got the same thing. It's like, I don't like this. And then when the food came out, it was like, oh, I can cook this better. And then we went to see the musical and she was like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't know. After that trip, like, I left and I was thinking like, that's it. You know, like, that's it. Like, I was, all those years growing up, I was so afraid for her to see me because I was in the closet, you know. And this was my chance to show her who I was. And not just that, but even the singing a song that was so personal about something that happened to me. And it just seems like at every turn, every time I tried to show her or to let her into my world, all I got back was negativity. And again, it sucks because I am a mama's boy, so I hate making this video. I hate saying this about my mom, but I have to because it's true. It's my truth of the situation. So it really got to the point now to where, like, I don't speak to my mom, and it's kind of like we didn't have a blowout or anything like that. That was the last time, because I thought, you know what, she can call me. Because like I said, I feel like I'm the one who's always been doing everything for her, and I just wanted for once for her to do something for me, you know, I don't know. She has my number. She's never called me. She's never ever called me, like, throughout the years, the in and outs. Like, that's never happened. It's always been me, and in a weird way, my dad, you know, like reaching out and doing all of that. And I know, here's the thing, I have to make sure that I say this. I know 1000% that my mom loves me. I also think that maybe she's stunted in a way. Maybe the drug use has done stuff to her. And I also think because I was a mama's boy, that the same way I said where I remained a kid around her, I think she remained a mother to that kid when she's around me. And so I don't think she knows how to act. You know, I know she doesn't do this with my other siblings, because I've seen her interact with them, and that doesn't ever seem to be there, you know. Yeah, it's a weird place to be, because again, I do love her. I wish we had a great relationship, and I'm not saying that I'm not pushing her away and saying that that's a closed relationship. It's open. I just don't know what step to make next. You know, I kind of mentioned to her, like, you know, I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I did say something like, I'm showing you, this is me, like, this is who I am. And are you happy with that? Like, I don't feel like you're appreciating it. And I don't even remember her response, to be honest with you, but it wasn't like, oh, no. It was just kind of like, well, you know, it is what it is. Or, you know, something like that. I don't know. I can't put my finger on what the deal is, but all I can say is that ultimately, I have to protect myself. And she needs to do some work. You know, I have done so much work with my life because of stuff that originated from my childhood, that she was a major factor in, her and my dad. And it's kind of like, I can't come at you in any other way but to be myself. And either you're going to appreciate that and you're going to make me feel good about being me, about me being me around you. If I can't feel good being me around you, then I'm not going to be around you. That's kind of normal. I think everyone should do that, right? Any relationship. Why would you keep putting yourself in the lion's den, right? So that's where I'm at. I'm surprised that I didn't cry in this one. Maybe because this is probably my 20th take just today making this video. I kept getting flustered and just, I did cry a lot, so maybe no more tears left or whatever, at least for today, right? So, yeah, I thank you so much for the comment. I needed to make this video. I'm glad that I have made it now that this is done. and I'll keep you guys updated. Again, I work on myself all the time, and that includes my relationships, and so that also includes my relationship with my mom. So I don't know what next step I'm going to take, but I think it's important for me to make this video even at this stage, because we don't always have every relationship figured out, right? So I'm sure there are folks, many of you out there, who are in this exact situation to where things are stuck, you know, in this weird, funky place, and you're trying to think about your next step. And so maybe this will help you out in some way. I don't know, but I'm happy to share this with you. And I want you to share your stories with me. So like would be great, subscribe would be even better, but most importantly, comment. Let me know if you've had a strained relationship with anyone in your family, actually. If you worked through that, if you had a similar situation to mine, and if you found a way. I'm open to any suggestions, any ideas, because again, this isn't done for me. My relationship with my mom isn't done for me. It's just where it's at now, right? Okay, so bye. Oh, hey guys, one quick thing. So I just received my first payment from YouTube for $100. This is like for 6 months worth. So I'm not there yet, but I'm still super stoked. Still super stoked about it. As a thank you, do a 20 questions kind of video. So I'm putting it out there. This is my invite to you to ask me if like a random question and you want to know. Feel free to ask me. Obviously on YouTube, you can comment to this video. I also have I am Mikey Vera for Facebook and for Instagram, so you can find me there. I don't care what it is, how personal it is. If you want me to shout you out, then let me know in the message, in the comment, and I'll be more than happy to do so. But again, if you don't, that's cool too. But again, yeah, my first $100, super happy about it. Bye.